Hey YouTube, this is Jaden coming at you from Team Shadow Strike with a video. Today I'm going to be talking about the good player versus the bad player. And please note, just because of the name of this title, I'm not insulting anybody. This video is it's just meant to help people who may not have as much knowledge of the game as others who research it as heavily as I do. It's mainly just there to give you some advice. And what I'm going to be talking about is the American meta now. We have finally phased into break rides, and break rides with set 11 coming out rather quickly, and then set 10, and then we'll be getting into the sets that Japan are in right now. The game is just going to get more and more complex. We're going to get more advanced units, and it's going to be all kinds of new fun things. But break rides is the one thing right now that I think there needs to be a video over it. And what this video it's going to be doing, it's going to be talking about break rides in general, but it is mostly going to be talking about the difference between when to break ride and when not to break ride. The only two break rides that I own currently are these two. I do not have the Bermuda Triangle one because I don't like Bermuda Triangle. Personally, I think compared to the only reason it was as good as it was here in America was because it was the only deck that had a break ride at the time. That's my opinion. But these two are the only two break rides that I own. Now, break rides is a skill that I think some people... It is a very good skill, but you need to learn how to use it. One of the most repeated pieces of information that I have given to younger players, and that I've probably said on here, there's a difference between knowing how to use the card and knowing how to play it. There's a difference between knowing also how to play it and when to play it. You know, just because you necessarily have it doesn't mean you need to use it. There has been plenty of times where over the last couple of weeks that I've gotten to play test with my Liberators and Eradicators that I've built, where I have that 4 damage, and I can break ride. But it's not necessarily going to do me anything. Like, last week I was thinking while I was playing, okay, I need to think of examples so when I'm making this movie. Now, if I have two units in my front row with my Vanguard and 2 units in the back row with a copy of this in my hand and I'm at 4 damage and I'm in my ride phase, yeah, that's an amazing time to break ride. But let's say I have just my booster for my Vanguard and no units in my front row. That's really not going to do me much to break ride. It'd be better to call it to the rear guard if I need another attacker. Because what's the worst that it's going to happen? If my opponent has a handful of cards, it's what? You know, I'm going to break ride. He's going to gain 10, so he'll be swinging for 23. And then my rear guard will gain 5k, so he'll be at least a 10k booster. So I'm swinging, okay, 33, 34 to your Vanguard. And then what? He goes, oh, perfect guard, your twin drive's worthless, my turn again, and then you lose. It'd be easier for you to call this to a rear guard and do something else. Same thing with this. If your opponent doesn't have anything in the front row, is it really going to do you any good to break ride, to just gain that extra 10,000 power? Now, if you know your opponent has only one card in their hand, and doing it in that situation where that extra 10k would help you, then yeah, by all means do it. But more times than not, that's not going to help you. Or if your opponents say they have a handful of cards, but they for some reason don't have a unit in the front row, is it really going to benefit you to break ride at that time? Maybe call this to the rear guard and just have it as an extra attacker. You know, so it's going to be something that I think a lot of newer players who maybe pick the game up now, who didn't play the game when we didn't have break rides, where there wasn't such a thing as just a free 10k power bonus, here you go, because break rides, there are some break rides that literally can end the game if they are played the right way, but it takes A, the right player to do it, B, it takes knowing how to do it, and C, it takes also knowing when to do it in the right situation. You know, I'll probably make another continuance of this video once more break rides come out, but I wanted to just kind of stick something out there now when there's only 3 break rides in the American meta in existence, so maybe it can start being swirling around in players' heads who maybe not know about this, and if they see this, because yeah, both of these cards are amazing cards, and the reason is, and there'll be more cards that'll be coming out for them down the road that'll make them even better. Like for Liberators, one card that'll be coming out for Ganslot down the road that'll make him even better is Liberator of the Round Table, Alfred. This card will make him so much better because with his limit break, he's going to gain an even bigger boost. I mean, this right here will be an amazing 2-card combo for the American meta. Japan's already, had this and it was amazing. But it takes the right player and knowing when to do it. That's the only thing that I want you to be aware of. Just because you can break ride doesn't necessarily that you should. The only thing that I'm asking you to do with this video is the next time that you're playing a deck and you have a break ride, which right now there's only 3 decks that allow you to do that, before you do it, ask yourself, is this really worth it? Because unless you ride another break ride on top of that break ride to get that break ride's effect, like for example, one of the most common plays if you play Liberators right now, even though they're very limited, is to where you just go, ooh, I got a Ganslot here, and I got a full field of monsters, and guess what? Break ride! And the next turn, break ride. If you break ride another unit on top of that, just to get that plus 10k and take very little advantage of its ability, you're not going to get that advantage to break ride on it again unless you ride a break ride on top of the unit that you previously break rided with. So you need, and it's going to become more and more less likely to do this where you break ride with another copy of the break ride eventually, because you're going to have Alfred out, you're going to have the Aquaforce last card revving out, so it's not going to be as popular, or it's not going to be as not popular, it's not going to be as common. So you need to think before you break ride, because it is a very good skill, but if you use it wrong, it can actually cost you the game. So that's all I'm asking in this video, is the next time that you break ride, look at everything. Look at, can I take full advantage of my break ride effect? Something like Ganslot, or maybe, wow, Bowing Saber Dragon. If your opponent doesn't have a unit in the front row, maybe just call this to the rear guard and hold out, and have an extra attacker instead of break riding to not retire anything and just gain that plus 10. There's really no point in it then. So just next time when you can break ride, look at all of your current situations and determine whether it is a smart move or not. Because the number one problem with break riding is I do fear that there are going to be some players who don't know how to use it. And like I said, when I make these videos, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just trying to help the Vanguard community in general. So the next time you're in a tournament or you're playing against someone, maybe you don't play one of the 3 break ride decks. Say you're playing against someone who does play either Gold Paladin, Narcomi, or Bermuda Triangle. And when they break ride, look at what they do. Think to yourself, okay, did they take full advantage of that? I understand maybe with Ganslot sometimes when you break ride on top of him, you might only boost 2 units in that. Sometimes you can get away with. But if, say, you only boost 1 unit, or you break ride with this, but there's no units in the front row to retire, just kind of, even if you don't play these, look at what your opponent does and go, that wasn't smart. Don't say that because your opponent will take offense to that. But just try to see, if it is the smart move. Because if you're going to play the card, make sure you can take full advantage of it. So just next time you play a break ride deck, make sure that you take all of this that I've talked about in this video into consideration. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video. I will make another continuance of this video once more break rides come out, except these 2. So anyway, guys, in the comment section below, feel free to put down there whatever whatever you'd like. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.